Hi students, how are you today? Okay, are you safe there? Yes, no problem. We were awareness about the novel coronavirus and be safe at your home. And what do you say? Yes, keep distance, avoiding direct contact with other persons and wash your hands in proper way. And some scientists we were using mostly and avoid to direct contact with eyes, nose, mouth, etc. And we must wear mask. That's preferable mask only. Okay. So because we are in a dangerous situation, we are suffering with COVID virus, coronaviruses. So what is the impact? It's a very dangerous one. Okay. Okay, then let us start our topic. We are already learned about this topic. So the chapter name, the topic name, the lesson name is cell structure and function. We already learned the living organisms, the basic contents of living organism, the functional unit of living organism, structural unit of living organisms. The answer is the cell. Okay. And in the previous class we all learned about who discovered the cell. Yes, Robert Hooke in 1665. Robert Hooke. He discovered the cells under his own manufactured microscope. What he discovered, what is used for discovery of this cell? He used cork slices. Okay, we know about it. Okay, he can see that he saw a number of honeycomb-like structures. Honeycomb-like structures. We call these cells. Okay, in this topic, in this chapter, we already studied some cell functions and structures. Okay. Yes, then we are learned about the single cellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Single cellular organisms, that is otherwise known as unicellular organisms. Okay, single cellular. Single cellular or unicellular organisms and multicellular organisms. Okay, we have already learned and we are know about the unicellular organism and multicellular organisms also. Then, give you something question about this unicellular and multicellular organisms. Okay, have you seen unicellular organisms within your naked eye? Have you seen? Have you seen before unicellular organisms with our naked eye? No. No, because the unicellular organisms are very micro size in shape. We can't see directly. We can't see with our naked eye. because they were very smallest organisms. Okay, give me some examples of unicellular organisms. You have a notebook in front of you. Just write. Okay, just write examples of unicellular organisms. Just write examples of unicellular organisms. I will give you the answer, the clue answer. Bacteria, virus, protozoan. That's the main examples of unicellular organisms. And amoeba. Amoeba is a protozoan. That is protozoan. Amoeba is examples for the protozoan. Okay. Then in previous class we discussed about the shape of cells. Shape of cells. Look at. I just draw a two type of cells. Look at this. This is a cell and this, look at this cell. Yes, shape is very different. Okay, different shape. This is animal cell and this is plant cell. The major difference between animal cell and plant cell is, yes, the presence of cell wall. We have already learned in small classes, in previous classes also. Okay, then we can see a shape, a particular shape. This animal cell and this is plant cell. We can see a particular shape. We can see a particular shape. Okay, look. This is amoeba. This is amoeba. Amoeba have no definite shape also. Amoeba have no definite shape. Yes. In amoeba, they have no definite shape. But amoeba have some special structures, that is foot-like structure, hand-like structures, but there is no true structures. That means when a amoeba predating, the capturing of the prey with the help of foot-like structures. That foot-like structure, that is not a real foot. That is a pseudo foot. Pseudo means false. Amoeba using the false foot. So that type of structure for helping engulfing the prey and to reach the prey. That means locomotion, transportation, locomotion, movement. These activities are done with this type of structures. That structure is called a false foot. So, this structure is mainly known as pseudopodia. I just recollecting the topic, just recollecting. Okay, pseudopodia. But in the case of WBC, you know about WBC? You know about WBC? Yes, it is a blood constituent cell. WBC. Leukocytes. WBCs are single cell organisms present in animal blood. What is the function of WBC? To providing immune system, to providing immune power. That is the main function of WBC. That's the main function of WBC. But in the case of WBC, is also a single cell. Amoeba and other single cell. But the difference is WBC is a one cell, but amoeba is a complete organism, fulfilled organism. That's the main difference of WBC and amoeba. Amoeba have single cell, but WBC have also a single cell. But WBC is only a single cell structure only, but amoeba is a fulfilled organism. That is the difference. These are the previous studying parts. Then, what are the WBC cells? What are the WBC cells? Can you guess the names of WBC cells? Can you guess the names of WBC? Yes, just recollect. Okay. WBC. WBC is other known as white blood corpuscles and is otherwise known as leukocyte. Leukocytes. Leukocytes are, what are they? Monocyte, lymphocyte, neutrophil, basophil, eosinophils. Okay, what are the WBCs? Look, monocyte, lymphocyte, neutrophil, basophil and eosinophil. What are the WBCs? Monocyte, lymphocyte, neutrophil, basophil and eosinophil. These are the WBC. Can you guess the functions of this WBC? Yes, these are breakdown of another organisms when entering into a body. A microorganism, microbes, a disease-causing organism is alien organism, is waste organism, a damaged organism, unwanted organisms. When enter into body, this WBC can destroy and prevent that microorganism for various ways, for engulfing and destruct. Some toxic substance produced and destruct to kill them. Okay, some of them engulfing, some of them toxic substance, some of them fight, some of the chemical substance produced. These are the protective shields of this WBC. Okay, and then different. Next is the shapes of cell. Now, just we can say the another part is shape of the cell. Next topic is shape of the cell. Okay. Yes. before that, we can see, we already learned the shape of amoeba and some organism, paramecium, the food-like structure, paramecium. Okay, we can see that shape of the organisms. Okay, then we all know about different types of cells again. Plant cells, animal cells. Okay, in blood cells, muscle cells, nerve cells. These are the different type of cells, and also these are different shape also. These cells have different shapes. Okay, okay. Look at that. Or generally, cells have, look. Generally, we can discuss the shape of the cells. Round in shape. The shapes are round, spherical, or elongated. Spherical or elongated. Some of them are spindle shape. Some of them are spindle shape. Some of them quite long. Quite long. And some of them are branched. Yes, we just discussing the next topic is shape of cells. We are already learned about that shape of amoeba, discussed about the amoeba, shape of amoeba, paramecium and some WBC cells, etc. We are detailedly studying about the shape of the cells. Okay, generally the cells have this type of shapes are here. That shapes are some of the cells seen round in shape. Some of them seen in spherical in shape. Sphere-like structure. And then some of them are elongated, very longest. And some of them spindle shape. Spindle shape means pointed. The both ends are pointed. That the elongated cells, the ends will be pointed one. The sharp pointed one. That is known as the spindle shape. Look at that. The pointed edge. These are the spindle shape. And some of them branched. Example, neuron. Branched cell. The examples of branched cells. That example is neuron. Can you see that? Do you know about the shape of neuron? It's a branched one. The neuron shape is the neuron have a cell body and elongated axon and the branched axonate. The axon is covered with myelin sheath and the cell body is branched. Cytoplasm there and nucleus is there and this is dendron and this branch is dendrites. Okay, this is the shape of this cell. Look, the shape of the cells are, some of the cells are in round in shape, some of the cells are in spherical or elongated shape, some of them are spindle shape, some of are branched, some of quite long, a long structure. These are the, okay, what is the function of neuron? Can you see the neuron? Yes, we have a coordinating system, control and coordinating system in human beings, especially in human beings. Control and coordinating system. That control and coordinate system consists The control and coordinate system consisting brain and spinal cord. Brain and spinal cord. The control and coordinating system, it consists of mainly brain and spinal cord. The basic structure of brain and spinal cords are, this brain and spinal cord is basic structure. Its basic structure is nerve cells. The nerve cells is otherwise known as the neuron. Neuron is the basic structural parts of the brain and spinal cord. The control and coordinating system, brain and spinal cord. The basic structure is neuron, nerve cells. That neuron will receive and transfer message, and then that help the control and coordinating. The work is in different part of the body. The function of neuron is, this neuron cells, nerve cell that absorbing the extra messages of in the outside of the body and into the body. That messages is received and transporting. Okay, I think you already learned some examples for nerval actions. That means when a lighting candle is touched with our finger, then we know about the lamp, the lightening part. The fire is very heatful one. That will damage our skin. We know about it. Okay, so we are not touching directly in this candle light. Okay, and the next example is, we are walking into the straight road or some not knowing places. We are not know about the places. We are walking that such type of smallest road, the by road. Then some spines or some sharpened stones were penetrating our hand, our legs, foot. Yes, what happened? We are just stopping that place. Just stop and raise the legs and just I'm just seeing what happened to our leg. Okay, so why we are lifting our foot? Because of the presence of pain. Because of the presence of pain due to the penetration of sharpened stone, some plants, ticks, etc. Some spines, etc. Okay. Then that is when a small needle or sharpened edge of any object is penetrating our leg. That penetrating time, the pain is the major impulse. The impulse is receiving the nerve cells of that present in the foot. The nerve cells that present in the foot. That nerve cells are absorbing, receiving. For what? That message is passing through very fastly into the brain and spinal cord. Into the brain and spinal cord. For what? For the answer, for the answer, for the answer, what we do? Yes, the brain decision, the spinal cord decision is lift your foot. Lift your foot. That is the command. That command is from brain to legs. That is transferring through the neuron. So, the neuron, the nerve cells receiving and transferring the message, and by helping control and coordinating the working of different parts of the body. The neuron cells receive and transferring messages. That messages are impulse. That impulse transfer the cell receiving and transferring to the brain, and the answer is to the various part of the body. So these nerve cells helping that control and coordination of the cell, all the body. Okay. Then can you guess which part of the cell gives its shape? Can you guess which part of the cell gives its shape? Yes, components. Components of cells enclosed by a membrane, a thin membrane. Okay, that thin membrane is provide its shape and rigidity. That membrane is provide shape and rigidity. Okay. That cell boundary membrane, that is known as cell membrane. Most of the animals have the boundary line is, the cell's boundary line is cell membrane. But in the case of plant cell, the plant cell have extra covered part. That is known as the cell wall. Cell wall. The additional covering system of the cell, especially in the plant. The plant cell have a covering slide, a covering part. That part is called the cell wall. Cell wall is made up of cellulose. Some of the cell wall is made up of chitin. Sometimes, okay. That is giving a plant cell presence of the cell wall. The cell wall giving the structure and rigidity on strength of the plants. Okay. And not only in the case of plant, but some bacteria have cell wall. Not only in plants, bacteria have cell walls. Bacteria also have cell wall. Okay. And then next we are studying about the shape of the cells. Okay. And then we are studying size of cells. Next is size of the cell. Size of the cell. Most of the cells are microscopic in size. That is, we can see with naked eyes. Okay. We have seen that type of cells with the help of the magnifying image. We are using the magnifying the object image, that is microscope. In this time we are using electronic microscope also. Okay. The smallest cell is seen in bacteria. The size of the bacterial cell is 0.16 micrometers. Micrometers. What is the size of the bacterial cells? 0.16 micrometer. Micrometer. So, what is the largest cell? The egg of ostrich. The cell of ostrich. This is the largest cell. The cell of ostrich is largest cell. That size is 170 millimeter into 130 millimeter. 170 millimeter into 130 millimeter. That is the size of ostrich egg. Okay. Yes. You just reading the activity 8.2 in your text. You just read the 8.2 activities. In that activity, that is a simple activity. You just take a one hen egg and boil it very well. The boiled egg is just observing the boiled egg. The boiled egg, the covering is rigid one, the whitish surface, rigid surface. That is the part of this cell membrane also. Into this, just we can noticing that the shell, the rigid surface of the egg is removed, and we can see a membrane-like, sheath-like structure, that is cell membrane. Cell membrane, that is egg membrane. That is known as egg membrane. Within the egg membrane, just cutting to the central side of that, the transversely or vertically, you just cutting the egg to equal parts. We can see that a whitish part and a yellowish part. Okay, white part is, it is a cytoplasmic part of that cell. That is the cytoplasmic part. When boiling this egg, the white cytoplasmic part is solidified. Solidifies. That means that water medium to become a solid substance. The structure is water to solid because of the presence of albumin. Look. The albuminous cytoplasmic content will be seen in the white color. And the center yellowish color, that is known as yolk. Is it part of the single cell? Is a part of the another cell? This is considering as a nucleus. That egg's nucleus, the cell nucleus is the yolk, the yellowish color part, that is yolk. Okay, and then the subtopic name is size of the cells. We are discussing the size of the cell bacteria have 0.16 micrometer in shape. We cannot see direct our naked eyes. We are just seeing only in the presence of microscope. That means magnifying the image. Okay. And then the bacterial size is smallest organisms, smallest single cell organisms. The bacteria have cell wall also. We have learned that. Okay. Just recollect it. The bacteria have 0.16 micrometer in size. The largest cell, that is egg of an ostrich. Egg of an ostrich, that is 170 millimeter into 130 millimeter. That is the largest cell, the largest egg also. And then next is we are discussing about our activity. In discussed activity, we are saying about the boiled egg structure. The egg is considered a single cell. Okay. The hen's egg is using for this activity. That egg is boiled. And then we are removing the out shell-like structure, the rigid structure. And we can see a membranous shell. That membrane is known as cell membrane, plasma membrane, etc. And then just cutting the cell to equal part, cutting the cell to equal part, we can see a whitish part and a yellowish part also. The whitish part is the cytoplasmic part of that cell, the cytoplasmic part of that cell. So, which cytoplasmic part is solidified? That means that will be the became liquid or jelly type structure to solid like structure because of the presence of albumin. Because of the presence of albumin. So, presence of albumin, the egg white will, cytoplasmic part will solidify. And the remaining yellowish, the cluster of yellowish, a round-like structure, we can see that is the yolk. That is considered as the nucleus of that cells. Okay, that is the activity. Okay, then the next is we are discussing the next part. That is all these cells, an elephant and rat. Comparing the elephant and rat. Look, an elephant cell and rat. Can you guess the largest cell in the within the elephant or rat? Which is the largest cell present in the body? The size of the cell is no relation with the size of the organisms. The size of the cells is no relation with the size of the cell. Because the elephant have cell, a rat have cell. But in case of number of cells is considered as the size of the organism. Okay, but the size of the cell has no relation with the size of the body of the animal, the size of the body of the animals. Okay, the size of the cells are related with the function of that cell. That is related with the function of that cells. And the number of cells is also related with the size of the body, animal body. Okay, then in this topic, then the size of nerve cells we are already discussed, that we are discussing the function. joining together with each other for a specific function. The cells are rejoining for a specific function. That cluster of cells is called as the tissues. Yes, you know about that, tissue. A cluster of cells are known as the tissues. The tissues are enclosed for a particular function. The tissues are joining together for a particular function. So that group of tissues are there. Group of tissues are there. So in that particular function done with a specific organ. That is the organ. Tissues are converted into organ. Just example, in digestive system, the part of the digestive system, look at the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus. So, mouth is one organ and esophagus is another organ, stomach is another organ. Okay, both in a system, both two or more organs are included. So, the organs are rejoining a function for organ system function. Organ system. The cells are rejoining to tissues, tissues are rejoining to organ to have organ system. Digestive organs, that's main examples for this. Okay, students, I will give you some questions. Okay, look. I will give you some questions. What are the advantages does amoeba derive by shape? First question. What are the advantages? What are the advantages does amoeba derive? Does amoeba derive by shape? By shape. Okay. And then second one is the different shapes of cells. What are the different shape of cells? Okay, the third question. Are the cells in an elephant? Are the cells in an elephant and a rat? Are the cells in an elephant and a rat are same size? Are the cells in an elephant and a rat are same size? Explain. These are the three questions. Okay. Okay, students. What are the advantages of does amoeba derived by shape? What are the different shape of cells? Are the cells in the elephant and the rat are small size? Explain. These are the three questions. You must write this question and answer in your notebook, and we will discuss about this question and answer next classes. Okay. Okay, then thank you for cooperating with me, and stay safe at your home. We will see you tomorrow, and thank you very much. Bye.